It's time for another fast-paced video on 1960s Twilight Zone. Please note, these are the views of me, Stu. Not everybody will agree. Thank you. Third from the Sun is an episode about Earth being in some sort of catastrophe. The episode is photographed in a highly unusual way, which makes you think that something about the whole thing is a bit off. The dialogue in this episode is absolutely brilliant. I have rewatched this episode an estimated 50 times because you just like the sound of it, the dialogue, the music, and you like the look of it, the photography. My first viewings of Twilight Zone were in the 1980s when I was a young adult. It was episodes like this that got me into film direction and photography and set design. But this episode was hugely impactful on me as a person, highly regarded. Third from the Sun. I shot an arrow into the air. Now, considering this is a science fiction tale, I should like it more than I do. Perhaps it is the casting, something about it. It's good, it's fine, but it's certainly not one of my favourites. The Hitchhiker. Look, this episode is basically a classic. Everybody likes this one. A woman is driving along the road in a car on the countryside, and she keeps seeing this weird guy sort of egging her on. It's brilliant, imaginative, weird. And I once watched this with a very large crowd, and people actually started laughing during some of it. But that's Australia for you. Okay, next episode. Then we have The Fever. Well, I don't know how to describe it, basically. Look, Twilight Zone had some less pleasing episodes, and unfortunately this is one of them. But, episodes like The Hitchhiker and Third from the Sun, they compensate for the less pleasing episodes. So let's move on, shall we? The Last Flight. Now, this is Twilight Zone back on track again. Time travel. Time travel was vital to Twilight Zone. Many of the best moments of the series were time travel. This guy on the right appears in the 1960s. He's from the distant past and is totally out of his element. The dialogue is brilliant. You can rewatch this episode maybe 50 or 60 times and never get tired of it. This is absolutely brilliant and what Twilight Zone was all about. The Purple Testament is a wartime story about a guy who can predict the future. Unfortunately, Dick York on the right there, I spent a good part of my childhood watching reruns of Bewitched, and I just can't take this guy seriously. But this is quite a good Twilight Zone, but certainly not a personal favourite. Elegy. This is very good. Now, I should point out, I'm not always the biggest fan of Twilight Zone episodes that involve people walking around the place trying to find out something, not talking, just sort of walking or running. And this is certainly one of those episodes. But this episode is the exception. The musical score is extremely good. The musical score compensates for the walking around. The astronaut suits there do look familiar. This is very good science fiction and with a great brilliant ending. More Twilight Zone coming on this channel. Stu from Australia signing out.